every medical device sales job does not have equal pay because a medical device sales rep can mean completely different things. So you can have one rep making $120,000 and another rep making $400,000, where both can be excellent at sales, but they are just selling in completely different medical specialties. So today I am ranking the highest paying medical device sales jobs from S tier all the way down to F tier. So I've been in medical device sales for about 4 years now, so I'm not just ranking these jobs based on what I've seen online. These are my personal thoughts based on conversations with reps, hiring managers, and people we have helped break into medical device sales. Compensation can change dramatically by company, territory, product, and whether your team is actually hitting your quota. So do not hear one number and assume that it is guaranteed. Use this as a map for where the opportunity actually is. So we are looking at what you can realistically start at, the long-term earning potential, work-life balance, stress level, and how hard it is to actually get there. Also, when I say OTE, I mean on-target earnings. So this is what you would make if you hit 100% of your quota. So the big money in medical device sales usually comes from when you have the right territory, build strong relationships, and go over quota. So that's where the uncapped commission will really be beneficial, right? So starting off in the S tier is robotics. Robotics is one of the biggest opportunities in medical device sales right now because the revenue behind these systems can be massive. So you are not just selling a single disposable product, you can be selling a major platform, the instruments that go with it, service agreements, upgrades, and ongoing utilization. So think about it. If a hospital brings in a robotic system that costs well over $1 million, that company has a lot more room to pay a competitive sales team. So we've seen associate and entry-level people come into the robotic space already making well into 6 figures. Then after a few years of building the right relationships and learning the business, these reps can get into the 300 and 400s and sometimes even higher range. So what I personally really like about robotics is that you can have a strong upside without always having the lifestyle that people imagine when they think of the old school trauma or orthopedic sales. So you still need to hustle and you still have to earn the trust of surgeons, hospital leadership, and administrators, but a lot of the work is strategic, right? So it's going to be building programs, helping drive the utilization, and managing large accounts. The one challenge that these jobs has big time is that they're really competitive. So companies know the upside is there, so they can be very selective. But if you're someone who wants a high income career, likes technology, and can handle a long sales cycle, robotics is absolutely S tier for you. So before we get into the rest of the list, if you're watching this and thinking, okay, I want to get into one of these higher paying medical device sales jobs, but I have no idea how to actually break in, I made a medical device sales course linked below. It does walk you through how to position your background, find the right roles, and prepare for interviews. So you are not just applying blindly. I'll put the link below if you want to check it out. So S tier, the next S tier category is advanced surgical and minimally invasive surgery. So this can include areas like general surgeon, GYN or gyne, urology, and ENT, along with products like staplers, energy devices, and surgical instruments. So why do I put this so high? So number one, a lot of these surgeries are scheduled. So you normally know your week. You can have cases from 7 in the morning to 5 at night, Monday through Friday, and you do not have the same level of surprise emergency coverage that you can have in other specialties. Now, this depends on the city and the exact division, but overall, the work-life balance can be very good. So number two, the money can be excellent. So it is common to see strong companies in this space offering experienced candidates on-target earnings around $150,000 to $200,000, and the upside can go much higher when you have good territory and uncapped overage. So I've seen reps make well over $300,000 while having a lifestyle that other high-paying specialties would be jealous of. And lastly, the relationships can be great. So you're working closely with surgeons and OR teams, but in many of these specialties, the cases are more predictable and the pressure is usually lower than a product that is directly keeping someone alive in an emergency. More stress, more money, more problems. That is a real thing in the industry. Advanced surgical gives you an amazing balance of income, career growth, and lifestyle. A tier, we have cardiac/CRM. This is pacemakers, defibrillators, and a lot of technology that is incredibly important to patient care. And because the products are so important, the earning potential can also be massive on this. So in cardiac, we have seen people start in the 120 to 175 range, depending on their role and background. But over time, it's not unusual to hear strong reps making 3, 4, 500,000 plus. The upside is absolutely there, but this isn't S tier for everybody because the intensity is real. So you may be on call, you may have early mornings, late nights, and cases where there's no room for error. And if the product does not work the way it's supposed to, there can be a serious outcome for the patient. So That creates a lot of pressure, and not everybody wants that pressure every single day. If you want high earning, enjoy clinical environments, and can operate calmly when things get intense, cardiac can be an amazing career. But if your number one priority is having every weekend free and never getting a call at night, you need to think carefully before you chase the big on-target earning number here, right? So the next A tier is going to be vascular. So vascular can involve arteries, veins, peripheral interventions, and working with vascular surgeons, interventional cardiologists, and other highly specialized physicians. So this is a very profitable space. We've seen people enter as clinical specialists at six-figure compensations and then move into rep roles with a much longer on-target earnings once they develop the knowledge and relationships. When you are working with the right physicians and you have a territory that is growing, getting above 200,000 is very realistic here. The top end can go far beyond that. I like vascular because it gives you a great combination of clinical credibility and upside. So you're not necessarily selling a low-cost product that is easy for the hospital to switch. You're helping teams with procedures where training, trust, and product performance all matter quite a bit. So that creates stickier relationship. The reason it is not S tier is that it can still be intense. So you're dealing with highly acuity patients, or you can have early cases and there is a learning curve. But for someone who wants to make very good money and build a respected clinical career, vascular is one of the best places to look. B tier, it's going to be coming in at capital equipment sales. I'm putting that in the B tier just because this can mean selling imaging systems, surgical equipment, hospital tech, and other big ticket purchases. So the reason people love capital sales is simple. So bigger deals can mean bigger commissions. So there are absolutely people in capital sales making $300,000 to $500,000 and more. But what a lot of people don't realize is that a huge deal can take 12 months to 18 months and sometimes even longer to close. So you're definitely not walking into a hospital on Monday and leaving with a $300,000 purchase on Friday. So you're dealing with budgets, committees, administrators, physicians, finance teams, and sometimes a territory that has you traveling across multiple states. That can be a fantastic fit if you enjoy strategic selling and can be patient, but it can be frustrating if you need a quick win every single week to stay motivated. Capital sales has monster earning potential, but it's more variable. So one year can be incredible and another year can feel slow because deals can move slow. That's why I put it in a B tier overall. So not just the automatic money printer that people sometimes make it out to be. So B tier is going to be spine, neuromodulation. I also put that in B tier. These are broad categories, but they can offer great compensation because of the technical expertise required and the value of supporting physicians in complex procedures. It has a big upside potential. As you become more experienced, you develop a territory and become someone physicians trust. So you can make very strong money here. You are also building a skill set that can open doors throughout medical device sales. The trade-off here is going to be the lifestyle. So in some of these roles, you can be in the operating room a lot, on call, working with patients who are in chronic pain, or supporting procedures that require a very high level of attention. It is rewarding work, but it can be emotionally and mentally damaging and demanding. So if you love being clinical and do not mind the work that comes with it, this can be a great path. If you are only chasing a number and do not enjoy the case coverage, it can burn you out fast. So moving down to C tier now, but number one is diabetes. So now I want to be very clear, diabetes isn't a bad specialty. In fact, it can be an incredible area if you care about patients, education, and having a good work-life balance. The big difference is that you're often more patient-facing and educator-facing than operating room-facing. So you may be helping clinicians, patients, and diabetes educators understand devices and how to use them. So that can give you a much more normal schedule than case-heavy specialties. Compensation can still be solid. Many roles that can land you in the 150 to 200 range when you're successful. But from the conversations I've had, the upside is usually not as large or consistent as robotics, cardiac, vascular. Quotas can rise, competition can get tight, and company strategy matters a lot. So if your goal is a good income with a more sustainable lifestyle, diabetes can be a smart choice. But if you're making the decision strictly on the highest income potential, there are a lot better categories for it. Another item in C tier is going to be aesthetics. This can include everything from lasers and energy-based devices to cosmetic surgery-related products. There's definitely money and career potential in aesthetics, especially in high-income markets like Miami, Los Angeles, New York, Scottsdale, and other areas where cash pay procedures are more common. You can see reps making 150 to 250, and and strong people in the right market can do more. But the challenge is that it can become very dependent on the economy, the local market, and whether the procedure is a want versus a medical necessity. When budgets get tight, elective procedures can be affected, so aesthetics can also be a niche. People can love the lifestyle and the customers, but then realize later that the experience does not always transfer as easily to other medical device specialties. So it is a good career for the right person, but I would not put it at the top if you want maximum long-term flexibility and income. At F tier, I'm going to put the traditional orthopedics. And I know this is going to make some people mad. I guess I shouldn't really say it's like F tier, because orthopedics is what many people picture when they hear medical device sales, like hips, knees, shoulders, and trauma. It has a reputation. Yes, there are orthopedic reps making 3, 4, even 600,000, but you got to understand the path and sort of how long it takes to get to that. So a lot of people start as associates making somewhere around 55,000 to 75,000. Then they spend a year or two, sometimes more, grinding, carrying the bags, covering cases, and waiting for the opportunity to become the rep in the area. And even after they become the rep, the money is not always what the internet promised them or that territory had promised them. So the lifestyle can be rough too. This is the biggest reason why I put this down below. Early cases, late cases, emergencies, demanding physicians, and a culture that can make you feel like you have to prove yourself every single day. So if you love orthopedics, and some people do, go for it. That can be great for you. There are great people and great careers in it. But if you're looking at the whole picture, the starting time, starting pay, time to get promoted, work-life balance, and realistic earnings early on, I would not put above the other specialties. And then the next one is going to be wound care. So again, this is not because nobody makes money in it. So I know people who have made very good money in this space personally. The problem is that many of these roles can be very hustle heavy and very territory dependent and full of big promises and interviews. So you might hear you can make 3, 5, 800,000 a year, but the question is you need to ask is what exact accounts are open? What did the last person in the territory make? How many reps actually hit quota? What is the reimbursement environment, and what will I be doing every day to get there? So in wound care, you can be constantly opening new accounts, educating multiple specialties, and dealing with a lot of moving pieces. So there is huge upside there, right? But the work-life balance and predictability usually do not compare to the opportunities in robotics, advanced surgical, cardiac, or vascular. So here's the biggest takeaway. Chase the specialty, chase the company, the territory, and the manager that's in it. So a $200,000 on-target earnings means nothing if nobody on the team hits it. And a job that starts a little slower can be far better because it gives you a real path to grow, strong mentorship, and a territory where you can win. So if I were starting over and wanted the best combination of income, upside, and lifestyle, I would be looking hardest at robotics, advanced surgical, vascular, and the right cardiac role. So those are the categories where I consistently see people build big careers and big income. So if you're trying to break into medical device sales, don't assume you have to start in the lowest paying role and suffer for years. There are great entry points in the industry if you know what companies and specialties to target. So anyway, if you found this helpful, check out the next video where I break down exactly what hiring managers look for when they hire someone into medical device sales. And if you're ready to break into medical device sales, the Course Careers Medical Device Sales course is going to be linked below for you. So I will see you all next time.